Lenoir Elf for Lenoir. Can't type. Lenoir Elf, and then Goblin. Electromancer. For Griffin, and a generous stray for Ian. So Ian already ramping a bit, digging a little bit deeper. It looks like he might not have a third land though. And that is, what's it called again? Adventurous Impulse. To dig for that land, I assume. Finds a Lenoir Elf instead. And taps a Lenoir Elf to play a Lenoir Elf. I have no idea why this card comes up in German. And another Lenoir Elf. Okay, it's an army of elves. There's no sweepers on this side of Griffin, so even though this is a very precarious board state, it's at the moment quite safe for Ian. And it looks like Griffin might also be stuck on 2 lands. 2 mana divination. That should help. There we go. Let's get rid of the mouse cursor. That's better. And we're passing the turn. VIII. There's that first hard to answer threat from Ian. And he gets... is that a suspicious bookcase? Yes. Suspicious bookcase from Ian. So he's not happy with just playing something big. He wants them to come through unimpeded as well. Chart the course. For Griffin. My voice is very low compared to the other sound. Apparently I cannot put it louder. Turned it a little bit, but that's all I can do. I can put some gain on it, but that will just increase the background as well. So we have a Blanchwood armor from Ian. And Griffin tried to answer with a lightning strike, but that won't work, of course, with the hexproof. Hey Summer, welcome. So we're just resolving a little issue with somebody trying to target a hexproof creature, and we'll be on our way very soon. Have to put the volume way up high, but then you touch your soundboard, my speakers blow up. Okay, let's put the soundboard like this. That should match it up better with the volume of my voice, correct? How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes. There we go. It's better balanced now. Thanks for the heads up. Okay. Okay. We're good to go. So we have a Blanchwooded VIII 4 forests in place, so that's a hitting for 9 here. How many? We have 55 players, Lanoir. Hey, your namesake's on the board. And for some reason our stream camera decided that 480 by 320 is more than enough of a resolution for you guys. And we can't seem to be able to finish it, which is very unfortunate. Usually we have a bit better quality. So getting rid of the bookcase with Shock and Lightning Strike. Looking Shock, always fun. There's 100 cards that have Shock in them. 7 viewers already, welcome everyone. And again, I'm sorry about the video quality. Unfortunately, there's very little I can do about it. Believe me, we tried. And we have a Sky Scanner for Ian. So again, that entire deck is built around ramping into, finding and casting hard to answer threats and finishing games off with that. Generous Stray. As the non-flying variant of Sky Scanner. Comes in, blocks the huge Vinemare with the Electromancer to stay alive, and will need chump blockers for next turn or face certain doom. Murmuring Mystic, that's a pretty good way of blocking Vinemare a long time. Can be blocked by black creatures, but that doesn't really matter though if you only have illusionary birds. We have 55 players in the open. So, not a bad number. Not record breaking, but not a bad number. We had 54 last time and 63 in the edition before that, and that was the largest one we ever had in the history of our beautiful format. It doesn't always have to be record breaking. That's correct, Summer. I'm happy to have this group. That also meant that we had enough of the goodie bags to give everybody the same set, which has value in of itself. Another Shock, so we get to look at a list of cards that have a Shock in them. Shock to get rid of the Generous Stray, and then blocks the Vinemare with a token. Griffin here mostly in survival mode. And we have Vinemare number 2. It's a go-to card whenever we see ramp decks in the format. Yes, it's been a very influential card this entire time. And we see a Brontodon hit the table just before. We have the scoop here coming out from Griffin. Let's put the microphone a little closer even, so I can whisper to you in my sexy voice. Now we're going to look at sideboarding options here. So for Ian we have Rubble Slinger, Ravenous Daggertooth, Rabid Bite, Crash the Rampants, Naturalize and Titanic Brawl. We don't have the standard what's it grasping clause, the kill something with flyer / destroy an enchantment, which would be an interesting card to bring in here. As it is, I don't really see anything that Ian would want to bring in. Maybe the Ravenous Daggertooths. Then on the side of Griffin, Griffin needs counter spells and has 3 Negate, 2 Disdainful Stroke, 2 Quench, 2 Act of Treason, 2 Secrets of the Golden City, 3 Essence Scatters, and a Tormenting Voice. So we should be seeing those Disdainful Strokes, the Quench, the Essence Scatter coming out to stop those scary cards just before they actually enter the battlefield. The thing with the Ram decks is that they're not very threat dense, so if you can manage those few cards before they hit the table, all the hexproof creatures in the Arboretum Elemental, in Vinemare, in Carnage Tyrant, then you should be pretty good to go. Carnage Tyrant obviously a bad example because it also cannot be countered. Ian also has Cobbled Wings in his deck, so it's very much focused on that Blanchwood armor play, and then giving the creature either unblockable with Suspicious Bookcase or flying with the Cobbled Wings. It's an interesting approach for him. I think this deck will get even better with the new set, War of the Spark, because we have the 1 mana 0/3 reach that lets you play a land when it comes into play. That should be very interesting for this deck. So Ian up 1-0. With a mono green ramp versus Griffin's Is It control deck. So most people have stopped playing Is It around here because splashing a third color and getting Gates Ablaze as a payoff is just so strong right now. So it's refreshing to see a 2-color deck again that can get away with playing that Crackling Drake, which is one of the first sacrifices that needs to get made. I think we saw the Rubble Slinger in Ian's deck there. Some adventurous impulses that went out. Now we're shuffling up for game 2. Let's see in the meantime if server side I can improve the volume. Server side, hardware side, I can improve the quality here of the microphone. There we go. That should be a little bit better already. Let's see on the meter. Yeah, we're pushing harder, so I'm a bit louder now. I hope that the background noise isn't too bad now though. There we go. Okay, opening 7s are there for Ian. Griffin did sideboard, did mulligan that last game. Sounds okay? Okay, we're good to go. Let's see what these players bring to the table. And the first card is a mountain! Yay! And there was much rejoicing. And a forest! Turn 1. Is it Guildgate? And a Suspicious Bookcase for Ian. Not the start he really wants to. Doesn't push any advantage, doesn't get him any further. Electromancer for Griffin. And I'm not sure what the land is that he just played there. That's the promo Evolving Wilds. We get a Brontodon. One of my favorite cards from recent sets. Doing Llanowar Elf into Thrashing Brontodon is such a strong play. And not just in Gentry. I'm pretty sure that Ian will be keenly aware of the fact that he should be expecting counter spells in this match. Well, a lot more counter spells. He was probably expecting some in game 1 as well. Okay, Ian coming in for 3 and goes with the Sky Scanner. Has not found one of his big threats yet. And finds a Llanowar Elf. So keeps ramping, that's working. Also, point of notice here is that the Llanowar Elf and the Blanchwood armor doesn't really mesh very well with each other. Chemister's Insight. For Griffin to dig into some more gas here. We're starting to get to the point where he needs to answer back, as the chip damage from the Brontodon and the Sky Scanner that'll be coming in here is going to be enough to put a serious clock onto Griffin. Magical gas, yes. Get some magical gas. The awkwardness. Okay. Shock. To clear one of the damage sources. And a Druid of the Cowl. More RAM. It's another problem that specifically these decks have, is that it's really unimpressive if your deck is only delivering up on on the small stuff. Like if you only get the ramp or you only get the payoff cards, your deck isn't really all that impressive. We get Chemister's Insight in response, trying to dig into what I assume is a counterspell. But I wouldn't really care about it here that much. A Druid of the Cowl doesn't really add that much to the table. Ooh, but we do have that Blanchwood armor. That's post-combat here. Seems like a bit of a risk. Okay. So, this time Griffin can target whatever he wants. Opt. Ah, yes, the other card. That's really annoying to find. So Griffin, does he have any bounds to answer? Yes, shock, lightning strike. He has act of treason, which would be an answer if he brought it in from the sideboard. Instead, we're getting Murmuring Mystic. Sort of an answer, because I was gonna say the Brontodon doesn't have any evasion or trample, but it had the Suspicious Bookcase, which got double lightning struck down. So now Griffin can keep chump blocking the Thrashing Brontodon almost indefinitely here. Ooh, Blanchwood number 2 on a Llanowar Elf makes that a 7/7 Llanowar Elf here. Big threats. Apparently even the Druid of the Cowl is coming in, even though that's just gonna bounce off a Murmuring Mystic or an Electromancer. 2 tokens. Yeah, 2 tokens jump in front of the biggies, and a double block on the Druid of the Cowl gets rid of it. Rebel Slinger for Ian to gum up the board. An Opt comes, brings with it a token for Griffin, and Griffin is looking quite healthy here as long as he can keep chaining multiple spells after each other every turn. Obviously Llanowar is rooting for the mono green player here. And we have another one of those nice promo Evolving Wilds. I'm only a little bit jealous about them. I don't have them, so. Yep. Die was niet van mij. Ja. Okay, Aaron Fontaine, one of our champions, has already dropped. Apparently went 0-2 and decided to enjoy the beautiful weather with his family instead. Another double block, even though Griffin could have taken some damage still. And we're in the same position. Now he really has to chain multiple spells every turn. Puts an Essence Scatter on the board instead of an island with his fetch there. I think we might still have a Chemister's Insight in the graveyard for him to jumpstart. Okay, untap Griffin, time for you to find something to stabilize this board. He has the Niv-Mizzet Parun, which could help quite a lot. Doesn't have the Electromancer anymore, so the chaining together infinitely feeling spells isn't really there as an option right now. Ian swinging in with the entire team, threatening a lethal with every attack now. Seven lands, that's +7/+7 on all. Shocks Ian, gets a token to block with. I think I would have shocked the Rabble Slinger to get rid of it with the block here, and uses the token to block the biggest creature. And we have Pelaka Worm to gain a ton of life. Okay, a radical idea. For Griffin, that also comes with 2 bird tokens. Discards a land. So Griffin trying to stay in this game. We tape down the life total machine just to keep it a little bit more stable there. Okay, 4 mana, second Murmuring Mystic. If he manages to chain this one into, again, more spells, but the Pelaka Worm will be problematic. It has trample, so there's no chump blocking Pelaka Worms. It doesn't really help. In comes the team. Is the Rebel Slinger coming as well? It forces a triple block, but a triple block would take away a lot of pressure from the other creatures. Hey Upabakas, welcome to the stream. Hope you're enjoying it. We're on round 2 of the Gentry Open in game 2 between Griffin and Ian. And Ian has won game 1 with his mono-green ram deck. Griffin doing his best to stay in the game here. Ian coming back from his trip around the world and immediately kicking butt in Magic. And exactly. It's good to have Ian back. And Griffin just flaps a hand on the table. It wasn't his match to win. He was missing the counter spells that a deck like his really needs to fight back against the mono-green ramp decks. So I'm gonna give you some music